Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
What's going on, fight fans? Rob Smith back again for Combat Sports UK. I'm here with Stevie Lee, who takes on George West at September 7th at Cage Steel. Stevie, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, mate, it's all good. All good. Yeah, mate, how are you?
Mate, I'm pretty good, you know. It's going well, you know, getting out, just churning out the interviews, just working hard, you know, that's what we do.
Nice, mate, as you do.
And so, obviously, let's put some straight into it. So, you're taking on George West. Do you know much about your opponent?
Well, actually, he's pulled out today.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. He pulled out. Apparently, he's broke his elbow.
Oh, Jesus, wow. I had no idea. Wow. Breaking
So,
news.
Yeah, breaking news there. He's broke his elbow. He's pulled out. But I've got a new opponent. I think he's called Joe Alicia or something. Okay. Don't know too much about him. 3-2. Seems like I've watched a video of him today. Seems like he likes to put the pressure on that on. But that's absolutely perfect for me, really.
Well, that's got to be a massive spanner in the works, because obviously you've trained kind of with this opponent in mind. Has that kind of I guess it's not really deterred you, because you come to do the job either way. But have you had to make any alterations, or just keeping the same game plan, just focusing on yourself?
I mean, well, it's always the same, really. It's always going to be the same, really, with me. I mean, there's going to be no difference to really what I was going to do. I mean, I'd say George's more of like a grappler than what this guy is. So, I mean, in that aspect, it's going to be better, I would say, for myself. But, I mean, either way, if he wants to wrestle, I can wrestle as well. Do you know what I mean? That's no problem at all, really. But, yeah, I'm just glad I've got another opponent there instead of George, but hopefully he has actually broke his elbow.
I was going to say, well, yeah, we'll have to see. But I think when I was doing some research, I was like kind of scrolling through Instagram and stuff, and obviously you've spoke about the opponent change, and I do believe George comes from a grappling background. I think that's why he has the name Slippery George. I think that kind of just hand in hand, kind of.
Yeah.
And so, and obviously with your new opponent, he likes to put it on, likes to put the pressure on. And I was looking at I was scrolling through Instagram, and the one thing I noticed was you originally were a boxer.
Yeah, mate, I boxed.
And so, how long did you box for?
I've been boxing. I started MTK. I think it was like 2019, maybe. So a few years now. I started doing the MMA. I was actually started off doing MMA, and then like, it was one of my coaches. He was like, Keenan Gorman. He says, "Yeah, do you want to have a boxing match?" So I was like, "Oh wait, go on then. Might as well have a few boxing matches." And then I ended up being like again and again, and then I got a bit sick of it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I didn't really watch boxing. I only watched I just like MMA, and so I just thought, we're going back to MMA.
So that was kind of like your influence to switch back. You kind of just got sick of the boxing. You know what? You weren't really too interested in it.
Yeah, mate. That was what it was. Yeah.
And then what kind of like kick started you getting into MMA? Like, what kind of influenced you to kind of start training?
I just love it, mate. I love it. I just think it's good. It's just good to watch, and I just think, like, why am I boxing when I should be doing this? Do you know what I mean? But I just love it, mate. I love everything about it, really.
Yeah, well, I'm in a similar position, but I'm too scared to fight. Put it that way. Like I love the sport. That's why I do this. I want to be involved in this more. But I did kickboxing. It's kind of MMA, more kickboxing. I did it for about 2.5 years, and I enjoyed it. I loved it, and I really did. I do miss it, and I want to get back into it. But I ain't got the cojones to fight, mate. I ain't got the cojones to fight.
You do, man. You do. You just tell yourself you don't. You do. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
mindset.
One day, mate. One day, we'll see what happens. And so I'll let you kind of break down like your fighting style. So what can Cage Steel fans expect to see from you on September 7th?
Well, I mean, I'm coming for the knockout, really. No else, really. I'm coming. I want to finish him. I want highlights, really. I want to look back and think, happy with that. Do you know what I mean? I want to come for as long as it's a good fight as well. I don't want to come and have boring fights. I want to constantly put the pressure on him, which I will be doing. Just exciting, mate. Really, just coming for a knockout, really, and I hope he knows that.
Well, I think that's the answer like fans want to hear. Like at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and as much as like MMA, like I appreciate the wrestling, the grappling side of it. I really do. I think it's unbelievable when you can do that. But
Oh, definitely.
we come to see the knockout. That's what everyone comes to see. Like
100%.
there's nothing more exciting than just like you say a big right hand, and then there's nothing better. There's nothing better in this sport.
Nah. And I hope that's what I mean. Like you say, I can wrestle as well. If he wants to wrestle, we can wrestle and all that. You know what I mean? But I hope he comes. I hope he's coming for a knockout as well, because I want that. You know what I mean? That's I don't want no. I don't want any timid fights. Yeah, I want him to come swinging for me, and I want to be swinging for him. Do you know what I mean? I want to be coming out there fucked if not. So, no, but no, it'll be good, mate. I've been training hard every day. Just come out of a Shark Tank there. Absolutely knackered, but we'll go again tomorrow.
So that's kind of led to my next question. Like, so do you do specific training camps for fights, or is it with it being amateurs, you kind of just train all year round and you have fights in between training, or is it specific training camps?
So usually it is like, obviously get a fight. Usually it is like the 8 to 7 weeks of pure, like that's the training camp. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I usually obviously cut all the rubbish out, cut all the food and all that out. And I have plans. Yeah, mate. It just depends. Really, it depends what sort of opponent as well. Really, I'd say obviously on the cut, like as my camp goes on, it like you obviously fight a grappler, you're grappling a lot more.
Yeah,
you're striking a lot more. Bits and bobs, mate. It just depends, really.
I think opponent. It's always hard because you can never really plan. There's no like such one specific thing. It's MMA. It could be anything.
Exactly, mate. It's just mixed, doing it all. I think putting the effort in, like 100% in everything. Really, I think you've got to always put 100% in, and with every training camp as well. Really.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that was kind of another question I wanted to ask was about with your training. So is there any aspects of the training that you don't particularly enjoy, and like you kind of have to force yourself to kind of give that 100% as you mentioned, or do you like all facets of MMA?
I love it all. Honestly, mate, I love it all. I think you've got to love it all. Really, I think if you, I mean, like you say, some days you can't be bothered to do stuff like that, but you still love it enough to go. Do you know what I mean? Like,
definitely, yeah, 100%.
You're always gonna have them days where you can't. You just think, like, I've got a killer session on tonight and stuff like that. But no, mate, I do. I enjoy every single session, every little bit of it. Absolutely love it, mate.
Well, I think the one thing I've noticed when I've started doing, especially when I'm interviewing like the more amateur fighters, I've noticed that like obviously back when the sport was 20 years ago, you had like specialists in like say jiu-jitsu, you had like Yulioto Machidas who was a striker, you had your Royce Gracies, and you had your wrestlers like Randy Couture. But now like the sport's kind of evolved where you kind of have now just the mixed martial artists, and there's always one pro fighter who sticks out in my mind. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He fights in both PFL now, the former Bellator, Aaron Pico. And he was kind of like the first kind of the new wave, the new generation of MMA where he could do everything. He was a Golden Gloves champion. He was a D1 wrestler. I think he's a jiu-jitsu brown belt, even black belt now for all I know. But,
nice.
And I think it's good to see the more the up and comers like yourself. Like I see it a lot more on the amateur side compared to what I've seen in the pros. It's like he's kind of trained since the get-go in just MMA. He's all round. He's all well-rounded, and I think it puts on. I think it makes for a better fight because there's nothing worse than when you see like a specific striker go up against a wrestler and they can't stop the takedown, they can't do anything against it, and it becomes a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And with the modern style that you guys bring, I think it puts on a more entertaining show for the fans.
Definitely, 100%. I think that is happening a lot more in amateur as well now, isn't it? It's a lot more mixed, and yeah, like you say, it's I think people know as well, like you say, you don't know if you think someone's good at striking as well, but you could be a wicked wrestler as well. You've just got to think about these things, haven't you? You know what I mean? You've got to.
Yeah.
I think it's just the risks. You cannot take any risks. You've either got to give it 100% or just don't do it really.
Yeah. Well, I
You
think
get
that's the mindset to have. I think you can't. This is not a sport where you can half-ass it, because if you half-ass it, you'll end up getting knocked out. Like you
Oh,
can't,
100%.
you have to give it everything. You can't,
100%, mate.
you can't part-time the sport. And that was one thing. I'm kind of leading up my own questions here. What outside of, do you like train full-time, or do you have a job? Do you study at university? What do you do outside of MMA?
No, mate, I've got a job. I have a full-time job doing loads of civils work, mate. So I lift heavy curbs, do driveways, do a lot of schools. So I've got a heavy job, but I'm training twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, every day. Obviously have a Sunday or whatever off. So my schedule is really wake up 6 o'clock in the mornings, go straight to the gym, either get me weights in, or as it's getting closer to the fight, obviously cutting the weight, then I'll start doing more cardio in the gym.
Mhm.
But then obviously like a lot of like power stuff before that and what have you. Get myself to work, get some more power work on the go. And then honestly, mate, get in, get food, boom, out the house, and then like you say, this is back in the house now. Back in the house now, mate. And that's what my life is during a camp.
It's
Really.
just keeping that cycle going. I think it's good to have a
Cycle.
routine. I think routine's key, mate. I think it really is. I think I
Yeah.
speak to some fighters, and they're like, oh well, if I'd have had it, I've spoken to some before, and I appreciate the honesty from them, but they've said like, oh, if I'd have had it at work, I probably won't go to training for the next like 2 or 3 days. I'm thinking, okay, fair enough, but also yeah, you have to keep going. You can't stop. Like you said, you can't half-ass the sport. Like you said,
Yeah, I've
you have
definitely
to keep going.
100%, mate. If people are saying that, then it's a little bit of a, I don't know, weak mindset, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you
And
can make the
honestly,
argument.
I sound like a bit of a dick, yeah, but I mean, it is really because
Well,
you've got
that
to
is the
do it.
truth. It is, yeah. You gotta,
You've got to do it.
you kind of, especially when you get older in life, you kind of realize that life's just sometimes about making the sacrifice and doing things you don't want to do. Like I'm sure there's times when you're waking up at 6 a.m. thinking, "What the hell am I doing? I want to go back to sleep. I'm
Oh,
absolutely exhausted." But
mhm.
you gotta push through it. You have to.
Oh, mate, 100%. Sometimes the alarm goes off, and I think, fuck, I'm like, yeah, I cannot be bothered at all. But it's either that or you're getting beat, aren't you?
Mhm.
So, and then, like you say, 1% better every day in that, aren't you? And you'll never improve if you don't put the effort in. So,
And I kind of want to talk about your goals in MMA. So, like for your short-term goals, do you want to try and get is your goal just to get as many fights as possible? Because I believe now I don't know if it's still the case, but I think you have to have 5 amateur fights before you can go professional. Is your
mhm.
plan to build up a good amateur resume and go into the pros once you feel 100% ready, or do you want to kind of get in the pros and get amongst it as soon as possible?
I mean, well, obviously, I will be pro. I will definitely become pro. There's no doubt in that. But there's like, we'll see how these fights go. Do you know what I mean? We'll see how these fights go. And then yeah, mate. Then I just take it step by step. I take like
Yeah.
a day by day. If you get what I mean. I don't like
Yeah.
sort of like stretch it out and think too much. I
Mhm.
just live every day like as it is.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, happens. If I keep winning, then happy days, mate. And then we'll see how far I can go and see what
Well,
just see what happens, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's a good outlook to have. I think it's good to have a plan in place, but you also can't look too far ahead because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I'm sure you probably you don't even know what you have for your tea tomorrow, let alone like what you're going to be doing in you don't even know what you're going to be doing in a year's time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think you can't plan everything because especially in this sport,
Nah,
what's happened to your opponent, like an injury can happen and it's just out. You're out for like a year. You never know. It's just
exactly.
you just got to take
Mhm.
it day by day, and I think that's a good outlook
Yeah.
to have. I think just take it day by day, fight by fight, and then when you feel ready, when the time comes, when the opportunity comes knocking, you take that pro fight. Who knows, Cage Warriors come about, and then you're like, I
Oh,
can't say
100%.
no.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, like you say, like I'm fighting on BFC 2 weeks after this
Okay.
Cage Steel. Um, so we'll see how these two fights go. And like you say, mate, if anything comes up, but like I'm not gonna say no.
Of course.
Um, like I wouldn't say no to like if I get offered anything, I'm not gonna say no. Do you know what I mean? Big chance
Mhm.
that you've got to. I feel you've got to take
Oh yeah.
risks in life. And like you say, game on, innit?
Oh, definitely, 100%, mate. Can't you? If,
You
if
know,
a good
you
opportunity
know.
comes, you'd be silly to turn it down, mate. 100%.
100%,
And
mate.
my final question is one question I've tried to ask most of the fighters. I've forgotten to do some of them, but it is what it is. Can you give me your top? Can you give me your top 5 favorite fighters?
Top 5 favorite fighters. That's a good question. Top 5 favorite fighters. John Jones. I love John Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Demetrius Johnson, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. Dustin Poirier.
Oh, good answer. Yeah, I like that one.
I like Justin Gaethje. Ilya Taporia at the minute's my favorite fighter.
Yeah, so
Ilya Taporia.
someone else said Taporia. I think that boxing style he's got is unbelievable, and he's so unbelievable to watch. He's
He's
scary. He's a
He's a
scary man.
savage, mate. He's a scary, scary man. I mean, he is a scary guy. Him, like, he's so good to watch.
Oh yeah,
I watch him all the time. I love him.
Mhm.
Class.
And so before I wrap it up, I'll just give you a chance to shout out your socials. So what's your Instagram?
So my Instagram's at Stevie Lee ____. You'll see is at the top. I don't know how many underscores, but there's a few there. But
and also, do you have a code from Cage Steel if people look to buy tickets?
Yeah, mate, it's CS Lee.
Right,
That's
perfect.
the code.
If you look at the buy tickets, go through the fight is the best way to do it. Support the fighters. I'm sure you get a little bit of kickback from it. And Stevie, I want to thank you for your time today, mate.
Yeah, Rob, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much.
All the best September 7th, mate.
Yeah, lovely, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers, pal.
No worries.